This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Oh, eeks. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Oh, eeks. And like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, man. Like the Siberian Tiger that I am, I'm applying whoop on immediate pressure. Because pressure does what? Eat person's pipe. You guys have to look at the real intent behind why people say what they say. Alright, let's start off with Fire Marshal Bill. Is Kevin Durant as great as we think? I'm going to debunk each and every video that he did within the last day or two. He Knows Everything's birdies. He Knows Everything's birdies brought it to He Knows Everything's attention. So we're going to shoot things down. Okay. Kevin Durant is as great as we think that he is. When you ask these Fire Marshal Bill questions, creating the fire, but unwilling, unable, and not accepting of basically putting out the point. You got to look at this clearly for what it is, because you cannot put out fires. You always have some lust smoke that's associated behind why you're saying what you're saying. Kevin Durant back-to-back LeBron James. He beat LeBron James in 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018. You're the one that calls LeBron James a billionaire, and that got fact-checked by He Knows Everything. He's actually a $440 million net worth of an individual. So he's shy of basically what we would say $560 million. When he gets that money up, then come talk to He Knows Everything about him being a billionaire. So that was ethered and murdered. It was debunked. Now this is how we're going to debunk this. When LeBron James got with Dwayne Wade and he got with Chris Bosh, he lost in his first year in a super team. When Kevin Durant got with his super team, he won in the self-same year that he got with the super team. So if we're going to talk about exposed, you always have to throw LeBron in the mix. Why? Because Kevin Durant and LeBron James are what we would say quintessential nemesis. So when you talk Kevin Durant, you have to talk LeBron James. They are synonymous with one another. LeBron James lost the first year against Dallas Mavericks. That was the year when Skip Bayless called him the chosen one, became the frozen one. It was iconic. That was the year when LeBron James, out of his rabbit ass mouth, said, you guys are going to go back to your lives and you're going to live it the way you live it. I'm going to go back to my life and live it the way that I live it. LeBron James was basically letting everyone know at his truest and his most properest levels where he stood as an individual mentally, where he stood as an individual from a basketball sense. It took Dwayne Wade's psychology. Dwayne Wade had to use mental gems and mental jewels. He had to take him away from the ambiance of Miami. Now, if you're not from Miami and you're not used to Miami, then I'm sorry to tell you that MIAO, dog, the Port of Miami is nothing to play with. It can be overwhelming. It can be something that really throws you off kilter. It can be something that really messes with you from a cerebellum standpoint. It messes with you from a corpus callosum standpoint. It messes with you from a medulla oblongata standpoint. But we have to call the facts here. We got to call a spade here. We got to keep it a buck. We got to keep it 1,000. And we got to call a real, recognize this real situation over here. LeBron James needed Dwayne Wade's psychology. He needed Pat Riley. He needed basically to get away. Did Kevin Durant need to get away when he got with the Golden State Warriors? Or did Kevin Durant just basically needed a situation where the point guard wasn't suffocating him, and i.e. Russell Westbrook? That's what was happening at his truest and his most properest levels. What happened when he got Stephen Curry? A high-octane beta, aka alpha wannabe. A willing Robin. Batman always needs a willing Robin. Let me say it again. Batman always needs a willing Robin. They went ahead and Ramalang 2016, 2017. They went ahead and Ramalang 2017, 2018. And they could have got 2018, 2019. But we know Kevin Durant got the Achilles. And when you get the Achilles, that throws everything off. It throws everything off kilter. It ruins everything. It makes everything basically a precarious situation. So we have to ask ourselves a cold-hearted. We have to ask ourselves an unadulterated. We have to ask ourselves a cutthroat truth teller fashion. But what is that? Is it really the identity that's associated behind Kevin Durant and us thinking if he's as great as we say that he is? Or is it actuality, the fact that Kevin Durant is as great as we say he is? Because if that is the case, if Kevin Durant is every bit as great as we say that he is, then the numbers prove it. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. The fact that he back-to-back LeBron James, who also had a super team. He had Kyrie Irving. He had Kevin Love. He had Tristan Thompson. That was his big four. Kyrie Irving nullifies Stephen Curry. Kevin Love is right there on footing with Draymond Green or Klay Thompson, however you want to put it. And then you got Tristan Thompson that you could lump with Draymond Green. There's the big four right there for the Cleveland Cavaliers. People that say that the Cleveland Cavaliers, they didn't have a squad, man. They didn't have a big three. They didn't have a big four. It's the things that make you say, It's the things that make you say, But in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat true teller fashion, they did have a big four. Their big four was no different than the big four that was associated with the Golden State Warriors. It was the same thing. It was the same pickle. It was the same onion. It was the same dichotomy. But we're sitting here as basketball heads and we're acting as if this did not happen. We're acting as if this didn't take place. We're acting as if this didn't actually have its own identity and its own association behind it. But he got back to back. Kevin Durant came and saved the day. How are those NBA titles not qualified, not calculated, not verified, not certified? A lot of people that don't know shit about basketball, because I have to channel Roger Mayweather, they run their rabbit ass mouths. And if they do have a similitude of understanding the sport of basketball, they're looking for subs and views. So they're going to be 50-50 in the way they do things. They're going to be shifty in the way that they do things. They're going to basically talk two sideways out of their ass cracks. Because that's what they know at their truest and their most properest levels. How to be wayward, how to be a double-minded man. And we know the good book tells us a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And what is the instability in all of the ways of a fire marshal Bill? That he's creating all of the fires, but unwilling, unable, and cannot put out the smoke. Can't do that with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's back-to-back against LeBron James buys him basically what we would say equity. Let me say it again. Kevin Durant's back-to-back against LeBron James buys him equity. Now the equity is going to have to eventually become reality with the Brooklyn Nets. He's going to have to get rings. Even I understand that. Even I get that. Because this now is about your greatness personification. And greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. And if Kevin Durant goes the whole time with the Brooklyn Nets and he doesn't get an NBA Finals, then I got to start holding his ass accountable. But the equity is there. So when we sit here and ask ourselves, is Kevin Durant as great as we think that he is? This shouldn't be even a fucking thought. It's reality. 2016 to 2017 denotes that. 2017 to 2018 denotes that. Back to back of LeBron James denotes that. And if you guys are not accepting of that, then my question to you guys is LeBron James the players that you guys say that he is? Is LeBron James every bit the basketball player that you guys identify him as? Is LeBron James every bit the NBA player that you guys want to give him credit for being? And if you guys can't come to this conclusion, you guys can't come to this delineation, you guys can't come to this distinction, you guys can't come to this gulf and separation, then leave the shit alone. Because when it's all said and done, something has to be said for a guy who dropped a 35 crook a little in the shot of the of LeBron James. Something has to be said of a guy who restored the natural order of basketball, who said that he no longer wants to be number two. Something has to be said for a guy that back-to-back LeBron James. The reason why I'm saying this over and over again is because you guys hold LeBron James as your shining beacon, your shining identity, especially this secret-loving Lebrontard. You will know them by the fruits that they bear. Notice the hatred for Kawhi Leonard. They got ethered and murked yesterday. The hatred for Kevin Durant, that's getting ethered and murked right now. It's all having a deep-seated root for being a secret-loving Lebrontard. Because if you're not a Lebrontard, then why are you coming after Kevin Durant? If you're not a Lebrontard, why are you coming after Kawhi Leonard? Everybody that are staunch LeBron James criticizers and have proof to criticize LeBron James, it is because evidently Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant remelang LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard locked him down in 2013. Kevin Durant ramelanged him 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018. Those in of itself not only is a thought behind, is Kevin Durant as great as we think? If you have to ask yourself that question, then you're a brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo head. Let me say it again. If you have to ask yourself that question, then you're a brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo head. Because only dodo heads ask these questions. Real basketball connoisseurs, real NBA purists, true and rare NBA knowledge folks, they don't ask these questions that they already know the fucking answer to. Kevin Durant is not as great as we think that he is. Kevin Durant is already as great as we know that he is. Let me say it again. Kevin Durant is not as great as we think that he is. Kevin Durant is as great as we know that he is. Because he is. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat television. P.S. Name me how many NBA basketball players have back-to-back and got 2 NBA Finals and 2 NBA Finals MVPs. I can guarantee you, if you got to go through the annals of the pantheon of greatness, you got to go through the annals of the NBA history, and you go by all of the players that came through the NBA National Basketball Association, you will find that that's a short fucking list. Right then of itself, Kevin Durant is on the NBA pantheon of greatness. I keep the foot on the Knicks. I keep the foot on the Knicks. Always leave it to HeKnowsEverything, the final authority on basketball, to clear the dust, settle the air, and basically explain to you guys unquestionably, unequivocally, and without fail what the fuck it is. This is HeKnowsEverything. Check it out. Go ahead, he knows.